Overall, all of us are expected to see some ice accumulation, so please keep that in mind. We have a majority of the area under ice storm warnings. Now that's the purple color that you're seeing, the counties in the purple color right here. That includes us here in Travis County. Mainly for that, these areas are expected to get ice accumulations of 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch, which is a significant amount of ice. Definitely going to make travel dangerous. They said in some areas, likely impossible. So very, very important that we keep that in mind. That's the main takeaway for all of us, even if you're not under this ice storm warning, that traveling during this time is not a great idea. Now, it's lasting, this ice storm warning, until noon tomorrow, but really late tonight into tomorrow morning is where we're expecting kind of the brunt of this storm. Now, if you're not under the ice storm warning, you're under a winter storm warning. So now that's every spot that wasn't in the purple. Now you're in the white color, those counties. That's because out east specifically, they're expecting more of rain. Now they could see ice. They are going to eventually drop below freezing, but because they're not getting as much as the rest of us, they're going to see more of the rain versus the mixed precipitation that's already happening to them right now. Their ice accumulation totals are a little lower. It's looking like for them it's going to be less than 1/4 of an inch. Now, interestingly enough, it's a little tricky because some of these counties are also under different national weather services, and so they're issuing different things for their areas. So kind of the ones that are more in the hill country, even though you're under that winter storm warning, you're still expected to get a higher amount of ice. So I wouldn't completely say that we should count you out. I think it's just your national weather services are keeping it under the winter storm warning versus the ice warning, probably because they have counties that are more to the north that are expected to see the ice and the snow and other things. It gets tricky. The main takeaway basically is for all of us that we likely are going to see ice accumulation late tonight into tomorrow afternoon. So we just need to be cautious. If you don't have to go out, stay inside. When I was out earlier, driving into work, not as many cars out there as what I typically see. So very proud of you who have stayed in. I love it. That's what we want to be doing. It's only for the rest of today and into about half of tomorrow. So it shouldn't be that much. Just hang in there. Enjoy maybe some winter type things. You can drink hot chocolate, eat soup, all that good stuff that we don't get to do typically in Texas, and just stay inside and stay in the warmth. Now, speaking of warmth, something else that we are all under, the other warning, is the extreme cold warning. Now that's because temperatures are going to be dangerously cold. We're already very cold out there, especially for our area. This, though, starts at 6 p.m. and it lasts until noon Monday. Now, what's happening is that we're all dropping obviously below freezing. A lot of us are already there at this point, but we also are going to be dropping eventually for our lows into teens, single digits, and add to it, we've got wind gusts that are going to be pushing through today, tonight, and tomorrow, and that's going to make us feel even colder than what those actual temperatures are. Now, because of that, they're saying we could actually see wind chills below zero. They're saying up to possibly -5 degrees. Very, very cold. So if you don't have to be outside, best idea is stay inside. If you have to be, make sure that you're covering up. When you get this type of weather, these cold of temperatures, you want to make sure you're covering all extremities because you could end up getting frostbite pretty quickly if you're outside in these cold conditions, and also hypothermia. So you want to make sure that you're bundled up, wearing warm clothes, and just trying to stay inside as much as you possibly can, keeping that outdoor time to a very, very minimum. Okay, so those are the warnings that we're under that's going to last. Basically, the cold temperature lasts till Monday. The other one lasts till Sunday. A couple days where we just got to be more cautious, more concerned. The reason that the winter storm warnings, the ice warnings are only lasting until Sunday is because the good news is the rain, the mixed precipitation that's coming in is expected to come to an end by tomorrow morning. Early tomorrow morning is what a lot of the models are saying, which is great news. That's exactly what we want to see. The earlier, the better. So once we get through Sunday, hopefully we'll be able to not only not see any precipitation coming down, but I would expect that the cities would be good at clearing off the roads, getting them safer, returning them back to their typical conditions. And when you don't have more of the precipitation, then we're done. Then we're just dealing with cold air, cold weather. And that's why that lasts till Monday, because temperatures are going to continue to stay very, very cold Sunday night into Monday as well. Okay, what we're looking at right now, visibility. So I also wanted to point that out. We've got fog in a lot of areas, a lot of moisture coming up right now. We were seeing that coming up off of the lake not too long ago. So that's something else that's happening. It's impacted visibility pretty much across the board. You can see different areas around 2-3 miles of visibility. So it is impacted. That's the case here. Oh, let me skip that. We'll go back to that in a second. I just wanted to show you the sky cam so you could see Usually we can kind of see the skyline there, and we cannot at this point because the fog has actually gotten a bit denser since we last checked it. That's just happening around the area. So that's another thing that adds to dangerous travel conditions if you go outside. So lots of reasons to stay inside. Okay, this is me trying to give you a little idea of what we're seeing right now. This is drivetexas.org. Look it up yourself if you have to drive at all, go outside. This will help you out a lot. This gives reports of different roads that they're seeing ice or snow or any of those conditions, things like that. Now, I know it's a little bit hard to see. I hope you can see it. But basically, we already do have reports out in the hill country. It looks like there's some by Llano. There's also some out by Lampasas and San Saba, just north of Mason as well. All of those little snowflakes, so those little gray circles that you're seeing, those are roads that have been reported to have either ice on them or they're slick, things like that. Near Austin, there is one that's kind of looks east of the area. I was looking at that. It was one road. Here, let me see if I can grab it. Actually, I think, yes. Let me get it specifically. So it is north and southbound. Let me see what it's referring to. It's just south of Elgin. They're not giving me the name. It's okay. It's just south of Highway 290 East. But I do not see a name for this road. But that's the one they're just saying currently patches of ice present, so travel it with caution. But that's the only one we've got in our area right now here in Austin. But up in the hill country, it's a lot worse. They've already started to see multiple roads that are already having reports of being covered with some type of ice. So going to be something that we just need to be cautious, all of us, especially late tonight into tomorrow, because we're going to start to see more snowflakes on that map, meaning more roads that are covered, because we aren't done with this. We're just starting to see the mixed precipitation come in. Now, the reason this is all happening, Arctic air has moved in. So very, very cold air from up north that has dropped our temperatures down. And now almost all of us are below freezing at this point. And that's where the concern is, because at the same time, we have a low pressure system. We have a lot of moisture in the air. So we had this chance for precipitation. Usually if it was warmer, it would just be rain. But since we're so cold, thanks to this Arctic air, that's where the concern comes in. That's where we start to get, if we were even colder, we would see more snow. But because we're kind of right at that point where we're just dropping below freezing, it's mostly going to end up being freezing rain and sleet and the issues that cause ice on the road. So these are the temperatures right now, just to give you an idea of how cold it is out there, because it is cold. 19 in Mason, 19 in Fredericksburg currently, 22 in Llano, 21 in San Saba, 20 in Lampasas, 25 for Burnett, 27 here in Austin, 29 in Bastrop, 31 in Giddings, and LaGrange is the one place left that hasn't dropped below freezing, 35, but just an hour ago you were at 37. So we're already seeing those temperatures really start to go down. Now they're going to keep going down. Today is one of those days where that air mass, this cold front that's come in, is bringing in so much cold air that instead of warming up during the day like we usually see, this is actually where we should be at our warmest. But we've just been seeing the temperatures decrease all day long. And that's how it's going to continue as we head into tonight, especially because at some point now it's 4. So we're going to start to see what we usually see, where those temperatures do go down, and we are going to have the less, I know we can't really see the sun right now, but there is sun out there. So technically without that, it's going to get even colder. All right, now I also have mentioned that we're going to see wind chills. That's happening right now too, because we have current winds, sustained winds around 15 miles per hour. We have wind gusts coming in around 25 miles per hour, which obviously every time the wind gust feels pretty awful when it's so cold, but it also makes us feel colder than those actual temperatures. So these are the feels like temperatures. You thought it was already bad. With the actual temperatures, the feels like definitely worse. So we've got teens now. 12 degrees what it feels like in Llano, 11 in Fredericksburg. It feels like 20 here in Austin. It feels like 17 at the airport. So that's just to add to it. And then imagine once we get even colder tonight with the actual temperatures and we still have those winds coming through. That's why we're under that extreme cold temperature warning. Okay, something else you want to see. But right now it actually looks like we've got a lot of improvement, if that's what you want to call it. So the purple and pinks that you're seeing here on the radar, that's the mixed precipitation. The green is rain. So outward, it's been a bit warmer. You can see they've been seeing rainfall so far, but it's kind of at that line where we notice, we just looked at the temperatures where you've dropped below freezing, then you start to see the pinks and the purples. And that's where we're already seeing the areas with some ice coverage on the roads, snow, things like that, because of this mixed precipitation. But this is going back an hour, and you can actually see a lot of it has started to move out. And that's great news, but we're not done. We have more as we head further into the night, which I'm going to show you on a model in a second, but I wanted to point out who's still seeing it. So this is kind of focused out in the hill country. We've got a few spots here and there. Also, the National Weather Service has been saying, and the models are showing this too, that it looks like we're going to see bands of areas of ice. So how to explain that? Basically, we're going to see bands of the mixed precipitation, meaning in some spots it's going to be a lot heavier than others. So basically, some areas are just going to get more intense, probably the thicker ice versus the rest of us if you end up under that band. We just don't know exactly where those bands are going to be, but that's likely going to happen. All right, now moving in closer to Austin, you can see our mixed precipitation also kind of starting to move out as well. We're getting a little break currently. There's that rain still moving into LaGrange. We know that makes sense because they were above freezing at this point. Eventually they're going to go down and they'll start to see more of that pink too. And that's exactly what the models are saying. So here's one of the models just to show you that it does look like as we head towards the evening, it's going to start to pick up again, starting out in the hill country. And then overnight is kind of the most dangerous time where it's really going to pick up. We're going to see some heavier mixed precipitation come down. It looks like across the board, according to this model. We're talking 10, 11, midnight where it comes through. The good news is it does start to dissipate and come to an end by the time we get to tomorrow morning. So this model is saying around 5, 6 a.m. we shouldn't be seeing any more of the mixed precipitation coming down. And then hopefully from there, we can get the road crews out there clearing the roads, improving kind of everything for us. And even to add to it, a little more good news, also looks like we could see some sunshine. It's going to be a partly sunny day, so maybe that sun comes out just in peaks as we head through our Sunday, and we're going to get a little warmer. Now, temperature-wise, it does look like for us here in Austin, we might get a degree or so above freezing. A lot of the hill country, though, you're not going to make it over that. You're going to have to wait until Monday. Okay, now future ice totals, just to give you an idea on this. This is typically the best model, I would say. I usually trust the HRR, the HRR, the HRR model a lot. It's pretty good. It's pretty focused in. It only will give you for the next day or so, but that's why it's more precise than the rest. So this one, I just wanted to give you more of the timing. It does look like we'll start to see more accumulations in the hill country starting in the evening, so 7 p.m. here. Then things pick up for the rest of us overnight, which made sense with the model I just showed you where it gets more intense overnight. So it does look like we'll start to see more of the ice accumulation in that 1, 2 a.m. hour. Now, this gives you a good kind of visual of what I was talking about with the bands. That darker red means heavier ice accumulation versus the lighter pink and the light blue. So areas that are under that heavier band will end up seeing more of the ice accumulation than the rest of us, and that's kind of what we're expecting. The hill country, they're likely going to see it a bit more overall. And then it continues, so this is me just fast forwarding it to the morning to kind of just get where everybody could be seeing it. So now you kind of have a better idea too of where those bands could end up being. Now this is a different model. I just wanted to show you, not as accurate than the last one, but it's giving higher totals. And when that happens, we still want to kind of keep that in consideration, because basically it means it's possible we could see a little more than what that last one was showing. So keep it in mind. As far as snow, the models are still saying it's going to remain well to our north. Maybe San Saba gets 0.03 inches is all they're giving us. And then the rest, those other models aren't giving us anything. So I do not think we're going to see snow from this at all. But let me just give you, since we're kind of coming to an end, some of the good news and how we are going to warm up. We're going to be staying pretty cold. Look at those morning lows, teens for the next few nights. And then slowly we start to see those numbers go back up, and the highs are going up too. So once we get to Tuesday, we're back in the 40s. So that should be really, really nice for all of us. And then Monday, I mentioned we're going to get about a degree above freezing. And Sunday, it looks like I have Sunday's high actually right around freezing, 1 degree below. So it looks like Monday is where we're really going to have to wait until we start to see lots of improvement from all of the temperatures. But as far as the precipitation goes, the mixed precipitation, that's just late tonight, lasting into tomorrow morning. So just reiterate it again. If you can stay inside, please do it. Just stay safe. Don't travel. Don't do it unless you have to, because overall, we just have to get through that amount of time. And then finally, we should be looking towards improvement. And then, of course, the cold weather lasts a couple more days, so stay safe with that too.